Hello and happy Tuesday from this Tuesday baby at Radically Rational and radicallyrational.com. Let me start with a question. Isn't a resolution to Trump's 91 legal issues before November necessary for us as voters to make informed decisions? Now, Trump says he's trying to protect his First Amendment rights and freedoms, and I say that Trump and his legal lackeys are trying to trample on ours. Another question. Do you ever feel like our entire culture has just traversed deeply into the twilight zone? Complete presidential immunity? Say what? That is idiotic on the face of it. Who is taking this remotely seriously? Certainly not any serious person, and certainly not the DC Circuit Court. Now, I'm ultimately confident that SCOTUS will not take it seriously either, at least on the non-merits of the Trump argument. But Trump's eternal mantra of delay, delay, delay could subvert our legal and electoral processes. So now the mob boss, true to form, is demanding protection money. Under his desired second term as president, not only does he say he will not defend any NATO partner that is at all behind on its payments, but he goes on to say that he would actively encourage Russia, quote, to do whatever the hell they want to do. This out of the mouth of a former American president and somebody who wants to be president again? And you doubt for a second? Do you really doubt for a second that Trump is completely in Putin's pocket? And the issue here ultimately is our national security. And shouldn't that be job one for any American president? And here's what we're hearing from Republicans. Crickets. Do you sometimes hear the Twilight Zone theme in your head? Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh, one more thing. I'm happy to answer one of Trump's recent questions. He asked, where's Nikki Haley's husband? Serving his country. You might want to give it a whirl sometime. Okay, I'm all right that Andy Reid and Travis Kelce are apparently all right and okay with Sunday's sideline scene. Understand, I don't have a right to not be okay with it. It's not my business. It's between the two of them. It is apparently reflective of their relationship and how they do business. And it's pretty clear that their team is doing just fine. So it's not my place to publicly criticize them. And I'm not doing it. All I'm saying is I have a right to say I didn't like it. So I'm saying that I didn't like it. So yeah, I went back yesterday. I watched the Super Bowl again in its entirety. It's an annual thing. I do this on the Monday after every Super Bowl so that I can cathartic, I can cleanse, I can mourn, I can grieve, I can get my thoughts together, because ultimately, folks, it comes down to this. Each of us gets only so many football seasons and then we die. And that is the human condition. So I got a couple of takeaways from watching this the second time that I want to go over with you. It's amazing how much the Niners were controlling that game physically in the first quarter, and they should have had a 17-0 lead, and instead at halftime, it was 10-3. That was a big deal. Now, in my mind, Kyle Shanahan's decision to take the ball first in overtime ultimately was a net loser. It seems to me that under the rules, you want to let the other team have the ball first, and then you know exactly what you have to do to counter. Now, the one argument he might have is his defense had just been out there for 11 plays. I kind of get that. So I'm not pillorying the guy. I'm not going to Hillary him either. But I do think that on balance, it was probably the wrong decision. But here is what I can't believe. You have all of the 49ers and a few of the Chiefs saying they really didn't know the NFL new postseason overtime rule. And they say they didn't talk about it during the two. That is coaching malfeasance right there. I just don't get that. And maybe Romo didn't get it either. Look, I'm not a Romo hater. And that's a hell of a rough job in a lot of ways. But You have a Super Bowl that goes to overtime. It ends suddenly on a historic play. You have a team that is back-to-back champions. That hasn't happened for almost 2 decades. And Nance ties it up beautifully by just saying, jackpot. Period. Nothing more needs to be said. And Romo continues to yap about the special play and stuff like that. Look, we've all been there, but that's broadcasting 101. As soon as that happens, you shut up and you let your camera people and sound people do their thing for the next 90 seconds before anybody opens their mouth. Now, I'm not really dogging Romo, but I'll tell you this, Greg Olson wouldn't have done that. And who knows? He may be available. Oh, and then I got to mention this. That Super Bowl telecast, only the most watched television program in the history of planet Earth. Message sent. Happy Tuesday. We are radically rational.